Good morning, ladies. I am so excited to get to do this study with you all on fruit of the Spirit. So I wanted to show you some of the things I've been doing. Maybe you'd like to see what we've been working on. So here is our garden. We've got some tomatoes and even have some tomatoes sprouting. You can see it right through here. Kind of getting thick in here. Got some tomatoes, planted some peppers, of course, some squash. My husband worked really hard on setting up a drip system. So we've got some water going to our plants every day. We even have a little strawberry plant that's blooming right there. Also planted some garlic from my refrigerator. Look at that. Who knew it would grow so quickly? And then I've planted some lettuce and some kale and some green beans. And they're beginning to sprout too, which is kind of exciting. So it kind of made me start thinking about what we're going to be talking about in our study. We're talking about fruit of the Spirit. We're thinking about how to cultivate the fruit within us. Really, what I just found so interesting starting that study today is if you go to Galatians chapter 5, we know that the fruit of the Spirit comes from walking in the Spirit. How do we walk in the Spirit? Well, you spend time with the Lord and you meditate on His Word and you pray and listening to worship. I think one of the things that God really does in me is when I listen to worship, it's as if it's direct communication with Him. The Spirit begins to minister to me through the worship and the music. And so I don't know how He speaks to you, but that's one of the main ways that I really just connect with the Lord. I love to pray. I love to read the Word. But when I begin to worship, that's really when God begins to do the stuff and really just show Himself. But what I found so interesting, and I want to show this to you all, one of the things, and I'm going to see if you can see it. So I was looking at chapter 5, verse 19, and all the way through to the end of the page on page 26. And I think this is so interesting because it says the works of the flesh are. So it begins to give a list of the works of the flesh. So there's more than one, right? There's things like adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, and a lot of that comes from not spending time with God. You know, kind of eliminating Him in your life and not focusing in on who He is. And then what is so cool about it is it says the fruit of the Spirit is. So, and really that's one of the things the devotional talks about is the fruit is actually one fruit with 9 different aspects of it or 9 different parts of it. And I just thought that was so interesting that even though there's many works of the flesh, there's only one fruit. And that fruit comes from walking in the Spirit because verse 16 says, I say then walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. And we know we're not under the law, we're under grace. Thank you, Lord, for grace. Jesus, because of what Jesus did on the cross, we have that grace and we're not living under the law anymore. And I'm not a biblical scholar, but there's a lot that goes along with that as far as the law. Moses set the law, you know, lots of different things that the people could not do. And of course, the 10 Commandments goes along with that. But we are under grace because of what Christ did on the cross, and I'm so thankful for that. And you know, becoming more focused on the Spirit, it really is a process, kind of like planting, you know, a garden. You have to layer the soil with the nutrients that a plant needs. And as that plant begins to get what it needs, it begins to grow. And the fruit of the Spirit is just like that. As we begin to focus in on the Spirit and what God is doing and what He's speaking to us, then that fruit will just naturally begin to take root and then sprout into something really beautiful. So I'm so excited about this study. I think we're going to get a lot from it. And the study actually starts today. So you can go to the Bible YouVersion app and be able to start it. I left the link yesterday, but I'll attach it again today. So I look forward to hearing from you all. Have a great day.